Many blessings, my loves. My name is Rebecca, and blessed Ophiuchus full moon. Like, wow. I didn't know if I was going to make it here today. Yeah, I just couldn't not do a video for the Ophiuchus full moon. Yeah, so I know that you're probably all feeling these energies just like I am. So, yeah, I just felt to come and just share some of my musings around this really magnetic and intuitive and powerful, powerful full moon that's happened this morning. So I'm going to share with you all the screen here and take you into Stellarium Web. So this morning at 8:43 in the GMT time zone. I'm just going to change the time here. We're going to go over to see where the moon was in the live visible sky. This is astronomy, my loves. So many of you would be thinking that the full moon was in Sagittarius, but in the live sky, you can see this amazing area of the sky here. So this part of the sky, as you can see, to me looks like a cosmic yoni or a cosmic vulva, a portal in the stars, which, in yeah, is also known as the Golden Gate of the Gods, which is where the galactic center is. The galactic center is around about here, around here. So this full moon is not quite at the galactic center, but it's on its way. So this evening, while we're sleeping in England, in the UK, the moon will cross over the galactic center. So yeah, I mean, this energy here of the moon, you can see we've got the constellations of Ophiuchus here, which is this is the constellation boundaries, the red lines that go all the way around. So you can see that the moon is right at the foot of Ophiuchus, that foot that stamps on the scorpion. So the scorpion is below the ecliptic, and you can see the lines, the red lines are the constellation boundaries that go all the way around. And the moon is technically in the stars of Ophiuchus according to astronomy. So um, this constellation Scorpio and Ophiuchus, their energies are really like transformative and they work together. And I feel like the energy of the Scorpion is like the death or the ending or the poison that can destroy and kill. And Ophiuchus is like that otherworldly, magnetic, mystical power that can transform and transmute the poison into, alchemize it into medicine. So Ophiuchus is also known as is a lot to do with medicine. You'll see in the Ophiuchus symbol is of the two snakes that spiral up the staff, and that's the same symbol that is on modern medicine. So Ophiuchus is the sign of medicine. It's also like, so the snakes, the snake venom, it can kill you, right? But there's always an antidote. There's always uh anti-venom, or not always, but I think there mostly is like an anti-venom that you can take, or there's a way that you can use that venom in a way, I'm sure, like, you know way back in the old temples, that the snakes would have been used to take, priests and priestesses into near-death experiences so that they could awaken their kundalini. So this is the serpent energy. You can see the constellation serpents, which the Ophiuchus is holding, and it's like the awakening of the kundalini. And Ophiuchus really is the key. It's the gate. If you look here, like, it even looks like a door. It's like the missing part, and when we think of the wheel, the karmic wheel of time of the astrology that we're in, and when we think of the way that that was made, when that was kind of being brought out, it was kind of around the time when we was getting like the we had the Roman Empire, we had Christianity, we had, and then we had like Lilith was demonized and taken out, and like all the witches were banned. This is like over periods of time, obviously, you know, and also Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, was taken out of the astrological wheel. How convenient, because Ophiuchus is our portal to higher consciousness. It's our gateway to enlightenment, you know. So the scorpion, you know, we can connect as well to sex, to eroticism, and Ophiuchus is like the tantric master. That's like the orgasm. It's the Amrita. It's the places that we can ecstatically get to when we, you know, we go to that higher state of consciousness through lovemaking, through tantra, through, you know, connecting to heaven, you know, through that place. So this is like so important. It's the female Shakti, it's the female Kundalini energy, you know, that it takes us, you know, because we have the opportunity every time that we are working with this energy to connect with the sacred, to connect with source, to connect with um, our power, to connect with our galactic self. Our soul is activated through this energy, you know. And really, like, a focus is, there's so much, there's so many layers to it, you know. I could talk about a focus all night, you know, but when we think about where a focus is positioned right next to the galactic center, and when we zoom out here, you can see it is like a big crack. It looks like a, that's all I can see. Once you see it, you can't not see it, I think. So and it's like it is a portal. And the galactic center, you know, it's the birthplace of baby stars, and it sucks stars in and pushes them out, and it's a powerful, powerful portal, and it's right at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. We're going to zoom all the way out now, and you can see the Milky Way. So the Milky Way comes all the way across. Oh, it's spinning. So it always does this when I try to look. So we can see, I don't know if we can see. Can we see that? Let me just click off that. So we've got Jupiter is over at Orion's hand here. Jupiter is soon to move into Gemini. So we've got the sun right at the end of Taurus in the horns of the bull here. This is a really, really sacred place in the sky. This is, yeah, a really powerful place for the sun to be right now. This is like the one of the sacred degrees. This is connected to royalty, you know, to princes, princesses, kings, queens, priests, you know, priestesses. This is like the symbol of Hathor, you know, when we see, you know, the ancient Egyptian goddess Hathor with like the big moon and or the big sun in her crown, you know. So this is a really, where the sun is right now, you can see it's such a powerful, powerful place of, yeah, sovereignty, of royalty, of power. And yeah, so coming back to what I was sharing about the Milky Way, you can tell there's a lot that wants to come through me right now. And I'm like, so we've got Jupiter right at Orion's hand. This is the silver gate of reincarnation. It's also known as the gate of man. This is the stars of Orion here. You can see his hand is reaching up, holding Jupiter at the moment. Jupiter, you know, about to change into Gemini, has been squaring the nodes, and it's been, Jupiter really is a guardian of this whole cycle, you know, in the way that Jupiter expands things. So things are as Jupiter is preparing to move into Gemini, and Jupiter is conjoined with Mercury as well, you know, our communications will be speeding up, things will be feeling quite fast paced in the way that we're talking. Yeah, and lots of ideas, lots of kind of movement and shifting energy. Gemini is much more fast paced. So Jupiter has been in Taurus, you know, for a long time. So we're starting to feel the changes that are activating in us through Jupiter moving into Gemini at the same time, you know, squaring our nodal axis of collective destiny and collective past, and having a huge impact as Jupiter is obviously opposing to this full moon as well. So really, really big Jupiter energy has the capacity to take things too far, to do too much, to feel like yeah, to just not have boundaries, not know limits, kind of just to keep expanding and pushing and maybe overindulgent. Um, yeah. And so the Silver Gate of reincarnation, is really joy. This is like the where the Milky Way joins. So I've heard some astrologers talk about Orion being like connected to Osiris and Ophiuchus being connected to Isis. And the Milky Way is the Amrita of their love, of the love juices that connect us over the Milky Way, like through the Golden Gate of the gods, or Valhalla, that kind of the Garden of Heaven, Garden of Light. And then you've got on the other side of Orion the Gate of Reincarnation. So this full moon is really activating these gates, of the gods and of physical man, so there's kind of like this polarity of spirituality and the physical, and how to find the center point in that. um, so this full moon is very magnetic. The Ophiuchus energy, when we think of, I was talking about the serpent energy and the sensual energy and the Shakti energy, it can draw things into it, So with this full moon, there's a lot of kind of intensity being drawn, especially, with the moon approaching this stinger here, which is Shaula, that last star of Scorpio, that sting of the scorpion. So there's a lot of intensity building, especially this evening, as the moon is crossing Shaula, and then we'll be crossing the galactic center. So, in the next few hours, as this is all happening, a lot of things are going to be coming to our awareness. Lots of things may be coming up. We may be feeling like a big release. We may be feeling like, a lot of big things, and a lot of energy. I can feel like, so Mars as well. Let's go over to Mars. Mars is in Leo, coming up to Regulus, that heart of the lion. So the Mars is really happy in Leo. There's a lot of dynamic energy for Mars right now. It's like, let's get this going, and I feel like with Jupiter about to move into Gemini as well. Because in Taurus, it's like Jupiter can get quite slow and heavy and like, oh, eat too much cake. And and now coming into Gemini, it's like, okay, let's talk about what we're going to do. Well, how are we going to learn? How are we going to grow? How are we going to expand? And then Mars with the Leo energy is like all about our heart and our love and leading, and like this heart-centered leadership and action, taking like courage and really moving toward what's important to us. Mars has had a huge journey, which I spoke about in my new moon report, with all of these oppositions to Pluto and this retrograde, back through Cancer and Gemini. So Mars now, where Mars is at, is in a really powerful place, of like action and starting to really move towards what is important. Um, yeah, I think I'm just going to jump over to the chart now. So, yeah, you can see I have already done a little drawing on it. So you can see that the moon is at 12 degrees of Ophiuchus in the chart here. And yeah, the first thing that I've drawn out is this grand trine, which is happening with Chiron and Venus and Eris and Mars. So we've got, the moon in Ophiuchus is very feminine, very intuitive, very psychic, very magnetic, and very mystical. And then you come over and you go up to the trine, and you've got Venus and Eris, again, feminine, power, like chaos. Yes, chaos, disruption, turbulence, and Venus conjunct Chiron. It's like, our wounds could be really, our hearts, the wounds of our hearts, the wounds in our relationships, and our collective wounds with the Pisces energy. Chiron is right on this place in the sky, Chiron and Eris. Like, let's just go back over to Stellarium, so I can show you because Chiron is going to be moving into Aries pretty soon. But look, Chiron and Eris are like right at the end of Pisces. Venus is at the head of the whale, Cetus. So yeah, Cetus the whale, the primordial mother energy. This takes us into the deep, deep, dark root of it all, like, and with Venus here, it's like she's about to birth. It's like she's about to pop. And Aries at the top here, way above the ecliptic compared to Cetus. Venus is actually in Cetus right now, I would say, as in compared to being in Aries right now. Although, we have a combination of both of the energies, because we know to bring through this birth, we need the fire of Aries to actually activate it and get that rainbow bridge with the fire and the water of Cetus and Aries. So yeah, powerful, powerful place for Venus right now. We are connecting to the primordial wisdom of the matriarch. When we think of the whales, the grandmothers of the whales are the leaders, the matriarchs, so there's a great value of like the elder wisdom here, and the primordial grandmother wisdom that's deep, deep rooted underneath it all, that just knows. So this is also a very deep and intuitive psychic energy where Venus is. Yeah, and we've got this in trine to the full moon, as we saw. So I feel that this full moon, that the feminine energy is going to be really activated. We could be feeling like more sensitive. We could be feeling our wounds. We could be feeling like we want to take action, but we may be also feeling quite sensitive and tender. So it's like what the energy wants to get moving through us, with Mars at Regulus as well. It's really about so much love. Like, what is it we love? And really sharing that heart energy for the collective wound, for our relationships, for our creativity, for the world that we want to live in. Ophiuchus, is like, I feel like the spokesperson for all that has been denied or rejected or I can't even say the word, sabotaged and persecuted. Ophiuchus is the persecuted. Ophiuchus is the one that they like Lilith, they just erased, chopped out because of its power. So I feel like with this Regulus heart energy of Mars, we can really use that masculine drive to help this feminine flow, to really lead with our intuition, lead with our magnetism, lead from our hearts. And this is, it's got so much power to it. So I'm going to just erase that and move on to the next thing. So we've got a grand cross happening, or a mystic square. So the full moon is in square to the nodes. You can see that the south node now has moved into Leo, and the north node is still in Pisces until the end of the month. Just after the solstice, the north node will move into Aquarius. So, and then the mystic square goes up to the sun and back over. So yeah, like I was saying, like the Taurus energy has got a lot of practical ideas about how things should be, very kind of money focused, wants everything to be stable and steady, and is very much like, yeah, slow and steady kind of thing. And I always see this kind of paradox of these two energies as like Taurus being like the king in the castle or the queen in the castle with all the beautiful things and all of the crown and the dresses, and then like the Ophiuchian energy of like just this naked wildness that's just like out in the woods eating berries and just very organic, very natural, not a need for all of the things that Taurus seems to be able to gather so easily. and then hold on to, so Taurus can kind of want to hold on to things and keep things and feel safe and secure, whereas the Ophiuchian energy can be quite drastic in its kind of, need to be free and need to be out in nature and not be tied down to all of the physical things, and is very much, beyond the veil in so many ways, like, just connected to the spirit. It's like the spirit will guide me. Everything, I'm so connected, and kind of like, so this is just this interesting paradox, and with the nodes as well. So the South Node moving into Leo, and there's a lot of kind of stuff coming up around power, around leadership, around sovereignty, and yeah, and this kind of the energy when the North Node shifts as well into um, Aquarius in the next few weeks is going to bring a lot of changes where, we're going to really have to start working together as tribe, as community, as humanity, to unite our forces, unite our projects, and spread our wings and our web, weaving all over the world. And I feel like with the technology, as Jupiter's about to move into Gemini, the technology, like the social media, and the AI and all of the ways that we can connect is going to really help us as humanity, as one global family, to really support one another, to share resources, to help, to do what we can to support one another. And as the North Node moves into Aquarius, we're going to see, over the next kind of 18 months or however long this takes for the North Node to go through Aquarius, a lot of humanitarian aid and projects really at the forefront. This is our collective destiny now to work together, to be in community, to gather together our resources, all for one and one for all, like we're all in this together. And this is, the last little bit of this North Node in Pisces is, it's the end of the patriarchy in so many ways as we prepare to shift this nodal axis. And then so the South Node in Leo is going to be a lot coming up around leadership and leading from, are we leading from pride? Are we leading from ego? Are we leading from a sense of self and needing to be the best and competition and rivalry? So yeah, this is kind of all the stuff that's kind of shifting with this nodal change. The Leo energy sometimes is all about them and kind of wants to be on the stage and shining, and this kind of like the Aquarian North Node is like, well, everyone can shine, everyone's got a gift, and we all have our unique flavor. So that's what's going to be moving with this nodal shift. And so this Grand Cross is causing quite a lot of tension as like we can feel there's a lot of change in the midst. Things might be feeling a bit sticky, a bit challenging, a bit like frustrating, because we've got a lot of creative energy, with this grand trine with Venus and Mars and the Moon. A lot of creativity that wants to be moved and channeled and shifted. And if we can find a way to do that, we'll feel a lot better for it. So it's really about finding what it is that makes us feel alive and passionate and devoted, and moving towards that, with our creative projects, and being like connected to one another, connected to each other's gifts and each other's, things that we're bringing, and networking, sharing. I was saying yesterday in our Mama Village birthday party, that I have a group of us that are holding the space, and I think there's 10 of us, and like somebody's good at spreadsheets and I hate spreadsheets, and someone else is good at guidelines, someone else is good at social media, someone else is good at, so everyone has a thing, one of my friends is good at singing and she knows all these songs and she's just like a jukebox and she'll just pop out this amazing song at the right moment. And that's not a superpower that I have, so it's like it's learning that we all have these different frequencies and all these different creativities, and it's networking together, as this Mercury and Jupiter moving into Gemini. It's kind of like sharing our creativity and networking in this kind of really social and fun and playful way. Yeah, and I also wanted to say as well that Mars is in square to Uranus. So, yeah, and that could also be bringing like, I feel like accidents, because you know how I said like the energy of Uranus, not Uranus, Mars is in trine to this full moon. So there's an energy of Mars that's, like I said, very active, very wanting to like, yeah, let's do it, let's get out there, let's move, let's move, let's move. But the Uranus square can bring like unexpected changes, things not going as we thought they was going to go, like having to, yeah, shift plans at the last minute, or someone cancelling, or someone smashing into our car, or like I smashed a plate yesterday. It's like, oh no. It's just things like that, the like, oh, the nervous and tense energy is really quite strong this full moon. So everyone will be feeling it in their own way and having their own experience of it. So just to be aware of the people out there that, yeah, everyone's having their experience. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful Ophiuchus full moon. So anything else I want to share before I go and put my little ones to bed? So yeah, Venus is in square to Pluto, is in square to Black Moon, Lilith, and Vesta. So, oh, another T square. We love a T square, don't we? T squares bring lessons, challenges, intensity, especially when Pluto's involved. Pluto is retrograde. Yeah, and in square to Black Moon, Lilith, and Vesta, in opposition to Venus. This is like high expectations of things being a certain way, power dynamics, control issues. Like this could be quite tricky in our relationships. That there can be like this, yeah, like expecting things to be a certain way, and then especially with Vesta in Virgo right on this cusp here, is like the priestess is like the perfectionist of like this temple has to be like this. And then opposing Eris and Chiron and Venus, it's like, well, actually the temple is chaotic and it's everywhere and blah. And Pluto is like transforming it all. It's like he's there with his bulldozer, like just kind of like dissolving and destroying all of these structures that need to be dissolved and destroyed. And that is not always comfortable. There's also a lot of eruptions going on in the world as well with this energy. I feel Vesta is obviously the flame keeper, and Venus on this Aries Cetus cusp. There's a lot of bubbling and rumbling and volcanic energy that's coming with Pluto in this T square. So yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot of those volcanic eruptions happening in the world, in the volcanoes, but also in every single one of us. So yeah, definitely find a way to channel that energy into something to so we don't channel it into each other in a negative way. If we need to go for a run, if we need to, yeah, do a bit of dancing, do a bit of yoga, like do a bit of shaking, whatever it is that we need to do, singing, to bring us back into our center, to not let that energy be stagnant because it really wants to move and have a channel. So finding a way to move our energy is definitely going to be the healing medicine that Ophiuchus would like us to explore embody and enjoy. So on that note, my lovelies, I'm going to leave it there. Have a beautiful evening. I'm hoping that the full moon will be rising as I come off of this call. And yeah, have a beautiful, beautiful rest of this full moon night, celebrating Ophiuchus, beautiful doorway to higher consciousness, our gateway free from the matrix, our gateway back home to source. Blessed be. See you soon.